Mark Keys, and I'm here to share my reflections for the fourth Sunday of Advent. We are on the doorstep of Christmas. If there was ever a year we needed Christmas to cheer us, it is this year. Its cheer may be somewhat muted, but it is welcome all the same. The Gospel reading for this Sunday is about the Annunciation. This word, like so many others in our Catholic tradition, is quite literally pregnant with meaning. It encapsulates the moment Mary understood and accepted she would bring Jesus into the world. It is the moment that begins to fulfill the promise that the Lord made to David, as recounted in the first reading from the book of Samuel. This reading is not easy to understand. I had to read it about a half a dozen times before the light went on, and I understood what the Lord was saying. The pronouns require some interpretation. The prophet Nathan tells David, the Lord will make a house for him, and says, when your days are fulfilled and you lie down with your ancestors, I will raise up your offspring after you. You shall come forth, who shall come forth from your body, and I will establish his, that is, your offspring's kingdom. I will be a father to him, and he will be a son to me. Your house and your kingdom shall be made sure forever before me. Several hundred years later, the angel Gabriel visits Mary in Nazareth to tell her this promise is coming true. Gabriel says, and now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus. This is quite astonishing to our modern sensibilities, telling a woman she must bear a son, but she accepts. Here am I, the servant of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to your word. Mary's acceptance is for us all. She is the way God became human, the vessel through whom God joined us as a person in bodily form, to live as we do, to die as we will, and ultimately to rise again to eternal life. Is it any wonder Mary has a preeminent place in our faith as Catholics? Without her, Jesus would never have been born. But this story of Jesus, conceived and born as a baby, also captivates us in a way no theology ever could. There is nothing at all unusual about the conception and birth of children. It occurs constantly. Approximately 385,000 babies are born every day. But conception and birth are at the core of our being. None of us would be here otherwise. It is also through the birth of children that we pass ourselves on to the next generation. This is what God's promise to David was about. It was not just a promise to him, but a promise to his people and to all of us. A promise of God coming to establish an everlasting kingdom, embracing us all. There is also something marvelous about new life in and of itself that explains the attraction of Christ's birth. Babies are the irresistible embodiment of love. One of the most memorable moments of my life I spent with one of my sons lying in my arms on my chest in the middle of the night while his mother tried to get some rest after fussing with him for a very long time. And another is of my grandson doing the same one afternoon. Holding a baby is an unconditional and absolute relationship. Christmas is not only about God coming into the world as a human being, it celebrates birth itself in a world of perfect contrast in the dead of winter. The birth of Christ coming at the coldest, darkest time of the year as a tiny flame of life that grows throughout our liturgical year into Jesus, bringing light to the world. The baby born in a stable is like a twinkling beacon in the distance, giving hope to those on a long journey seeking refuge from the darkness that surrounds them. Some of us have traveled that long journey, and we know many others who have as well. The Parish's Advent Community Learning Series, From Darkness into Light, has explored this journey, particularly in the December 10th segment dealing with the refugee experience. It provides a concrete sense of what the Holy Family would have gone through, forced to go to Bethlehem for a census and then flee from persecution to Egypt. The Annunciation is a moment of both trepidation and hope in a time that would become very troubled for Mary and Joseph. It gave birth to Jesus and to the message of salvation. There is much that explains why Christmas is so important in our lives. It gives us hope. It affirms life, and it evokes love, the love